Hello and welcome to The Banker. I am Silvia Pavoni and I'm joined in our London recording studio by my colleague Stefanie Linhardt, our Europe editor. Hi, Stefanie.
Hi there.
So Italy has voted on a referendum to change the constitution this weekend on the 4th of November. The answer was no, and it was a resounding no by almost 60% of voters. As a consequence, the Prime Minister, Matteo Renzi, has resigned. We are waiting to hear who will replace him. The Finance Minister, Pavoni, has been mentioned as a potential replacement, but this means that we are going to have an interim government, a technical government, and elections next year, which opens up Italy to quite a lot of political uncertainty. Now, the biggest casualty out of this is the banking system. And I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure most people would be wondering why the Italian banks are being defined as the biggest casualty. And obviously, you are the expert here. So take me through it. So we have large banks in Italy. One of them was the biggest loser from the European stress testing, Monte dei Paschi di Siena.
Yeah.
What is Monte dei Paschi's current situation now?
Well, Monte dei Paschi is definitely the biggest loser out of all of this. They are in the process of arranging a €5 billion capital raising plan, which is very much being put into, question marks right now, because 1 billion of this was meant to come from the Qataris. Now, this is all being meant to be done by the end of the week, a very short period of time. And now with this uncertainty over not really knowing what's happening, it may not happen.
Now, there are also rumours of potential state intervention. How problematic would this be?
Now, we don't really know how that would look like because under new EU rules, which came into place in January 2016, the traditional bailout that we know from Greece isn't really allowed like this anymore. It now requires shareholders and subordinated creditors to take a hit. And that kind of is a bit of an issue in Italy with the huge amount of traditional, just ordinary people holding debt in bonds in Italian banks. Now, they would take a hit if these measures would be taken through like this. Obviously, one wants to try and avoid that. So there is a talk of a guarantee of a repayment of €100,000 to every junior bondholder. But if that would actually happen, no one quite knows yet.
Okay, so a big question mark over that. And another question mark hangs over the potential risk of contagion. So from MPS on to other banks. And we need to remind ourselves that the Italian banking sector is riddled with a high number of bad loans. So 360 billion euros, which is a phenomenally high amount. With many also wondering whether the Italian banks have actually accounted for these bad loans correctly on their balance sheets.
Yeah, a huge problem. Italian bad loans, non-performing loans are the largest in the Eurozone, higher than Greece. And that is still paired with, many banks not having taken enough provisions for these non-performing loans. So any sale would take them into an even higher loss on these loans.
And it would open the door to the risk of not being able to recapitalize themselves in the current situation with so much political risk, uncertainty in the market.
Exactly.
But Italians did try to solve the issue earlier this year with the launch of the Atlante Fund.
Yeah.
So take me through that. Has it been successful?
Well, the fund was launched with a lot of fanfare earlier in the year, and it was meant to buy Italy's NPLs and solve the problem. It's a bit too small. A fund, it has helped, you could say, but the first steps the fund took was actually taking equity shares in banks and not NPLs of the bank's balance sheets. The actual amount is just not big enough that they can put into play. So a lot of other measures are required to really help Italy or Italy's banks solve their problem with the huge NPLs.
So bigger measures, stronger leadership, perhaps at a time when there isn't one.
When there isn't one.
So thank you very much, Stefanie. We're going to monitor the situation, obviously, and see what happens, whether a solution is being put in place by the end of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.